Today is Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Biggest red day of my daily career so far. Had my biggest red trade of my career so far. Just a totally shitty day trading for me. Started the day off. I got on right before 6 a.m. and waiting for breaking news stocks to come on. The first one that I saw was right at the break of the hour. I think at like 6:01 or 6:02. It was KTTA. I've traded the stock before. I know it's had potential to go up pretty big before. So I just bought in on it. Didn't even like verify that it had news or anything, which it didn't. And I got in on like the third candle of a huge green upward swing, and the next candle was a huge red candle followed by two more. It just went totally straight up and then reversed completely back down to below where it even started. I got out, but I ended up losing like $190 on that trade to start the morning. My next trade, I just got a good dip trade off of one of the stocks that had already been moving before I got on, and that stock actually continued to climb throughout the day. I think it ended up over 200% on the day. That was SYTA. I got about 30 cents out of a dip move on that pre-market. So that got me down to about 150 in the red. Nothing came on that I liked at the 7 o'clock hour. Lots of these stocks had, similar to what a breaking news stock would have, they popped up huge green candles for a minute or two, and then there wasn't any news, and they just completely dumped back off, did a total up and down reversal. I luckily only caught myself that one time, and I told myself I had to verify the news, and I had to wait for the little micro pullback to make an entry, and that saved me on several. It had to have been 5 or 6 more after that first one I got on KTTA. So I got the kiddos to school, waited till the opening bell, and there was 2 moves that I hesitated on. I was literally hovering over the buy button to make a dip move on 2 different stocks. They both dipped and ripped exactly like I thought they would. The second one actually, it was going from like 80-ish cents to the dollar mark. It actually didn't even settle in until about $1.15. So I would have made even more money than I had planned there. And I didn't. I hesitated on both of them, and it bit me in the ass. Either one of those dip trades would have got me in the green on the day, which would have been phenomenal. Needless to say, that put me in the old FOMO mode, and I ended up just buying a dip trade, hoping it would do something, and it didn't. Obviously, I ended up losing more money on that shitty dip trade for my third move of the day. So I ended the day at minus $230, which is like 8% of my account. Huge red day. I can't be mad about the first move. I'm still getting used to trading these stocks when they come out with breaking news, so I'm going to forgive myself there. And it happened so fast, it was hard to get in or out before either way went crazy up or crazy down. So that's going to be what it is. I just have to get better at waiting for better entries there and verifying what's going on. The second move I'm fine with. It was a green trade. The third move, where I kind of forced myself into a shitty dip trade, that was just dumb. That was being impatient and not using any sort of discipline or sticking to my rules at all, and it ended up costing me. First move of the day on Tuesday is on KTTA, a stock I've traded before. This popped up right at the break of the hour at 6 a.m. This was the first stock I heard hit the scanner once I started watching, waiting for breaking news stocks. I started watching it on the second candle. It kind of popped up, did a little Dougie here. I waited for this green candle, and when it closed, it started climbing again. I got in on this climb expecting to break to 150 or so. I got in at 135, and then it just completely shit the bed. I thought, well, maybe it'd kind of pop back up and I could make up some of my ground. No, sir. It closed even lower, and all it did was go down from there. I ended up selling it $1.06. That's a 29-cent loss, and just an awesome way to start the day. I went down about $190 right off the bat. first chart I even looked at. You know, it is what it is. I got caught on a fake breakout here, a false breakout. It did not have news. I did not wait for a proper pullback. This is just part of my learning curve on these breaking news stocks. Would have been awesome to avoid this, give it another candle or two, and I could have seen all this happening, and I would have stayed clear of it. But I got excited. I got in, and it ended up costing me a lot of money. 190 bucks, my biggest losing trade of all time right here. Second move of the day on Tuesday. Much better move here. This stock had already been a big gapper on the day. Kind of went flat for a little while. And then just after 6 a.m., it started making a little squeeze here. This candle is kind of what caught my eye. I wanted to see what was going to happen next. And lo and behold, I liked what I saw. I ended up getting in on this green candle here. I'm happy with the entry. It would have been cool if I got in here, but there's no telling where this candle was going to go. It had been flat for so long. This candle really opened up the MACD, though, so I was confident on my entry here. I did a good job of holding it through here. I ended up selling on this red candle here. Kind of close to a doji candle there. I wasn't crazy about the way that was going, so I knew this next candle was going to be a quick indicator of where to go from there. I ended up getting out at 6:01. This candle kind of hovered around 6:10, as did the next few. So I lost a little bit of wiggle room there, but I was afraid we were going to kind of reverse this whole move after all the reversals I've been seeing here lately. So I'm not too shabby about that exit. Could have done a little better, but I got out at the dollar mark. That gave me about 28 cents of profit. I made back some of that loss from my first trade, so not too poor of a trade there. Pretty happy with it. To top it all off, my third and final trade for Tuesday. I had watched this ticker make 2 awesome squeezes already, and I was just begging for something to make up the loss from my first trade still. I had made up part of it on my second trade. I still had a little bit of work to do. I watched this squeeze up 2 different times, and I had been watching this stock, and I even had my finger ready to pull the trigger on this move, and I just hesitated too long. I was a little nervous that it wasn't going to hold up the way it did, and man, did it just rip and roar. So I missed that move just by hesitating and watching. What ended up happening was FOMO kicked in. I thought we were going to have another little squeeze here. I made an entry on this middle green candle here, and right off the bat, I knew I had done messed up. This red kind of small topping tail candle was my first sign of concern, and boy, did it just go south from there. It ended up shitting the bed on me. I lost about 3 cents a share on this, and this is only at 32 cents, 30 cents right here. So I had quite a bit of stock in here for my small account, and that was another about 73 bucks to add to my red on the day. So very poor way for me to end the day. I was getting impatient. I had watched this stock go without me. I had also watched another stock in the 80-cent range go from about 80 to 110. It's the same thing, just hesitated too long, and the move started without me. And at that point, there's no point in making an entry when you've already missed the move. This was FOMO trading for me, and it ended up costing me, about 5% on the day. So, it ended the day shitty, started the day shitty, and man, between this trade and my first trade on today, really ended up making for the worst red trading day I've ever had.